Welcome to another episode of Cocktails and Curtain Calls, the sporadic television show. I'm Matt Austin in some very harsh lighting.
And I am Beth Young. Your lighting is great. And for the next 20-30 minutes or so, we're going to talk with Daniel C. Levine, who is the artistic director at ACT of Connecticut, and talk about their current production as well as what's coming up. We're excited to hear. So do tell. Well, I'm going to start by saying I've seen Smokey Joe's Cafe, and it is a do not miss performance. Everything from the set to every last note was just divine and just absorbing and wonderful. You couldn't help but leave tapping your toes. It was just great, just great. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Smokey Joe's Cafe is, you know how like you have one of those shows that you used to go to all the time when you were younger and starting to be interested in theater. And for me, for a lot of people, it was like Les Mis and Rent. And for me, it actually was Smokey Joe's Cafe. I don't know why, and because I just an affinity to that music and that style, and those original Broadway performers, were just so incredible. So has always been on my list of shows to do here at ACT, Smokey Joe's Cafe. But it wasn't going to be this season. It was going to be next season, which would have been our fifth, next season will be our fifth season. But after COVID and everything, I was sort of restructuring what shows I wanted to do this season. It seemed really appropriate and like the right choice. It is just one of those feel-good shows that that audience jumps to their feet at the end of it, and it's just all about these incredible songs and these amazing, if you cast it right, these amazing performers. And I think that we really did it right. We got some unbelievable talent, and we had Stephanie Pope Lofgren direct and choreograph, and Stephanie was when I did Chicago on Broadway and the national tour, Stephanie was Velma and I was Mary Sunshine. So we've known each other all these years as performers, and Stephanie sort of transitioned into choreographing and directing shows, and of course I have this theater. So when we were going to do Smokey Joe's Cafe, I thought who better than Stephanie, and she was in the original West End production of Smokey Joe's Cafe. So and she was really excited to sort of revisit this incredible show. A lot of people think like, oh, Smokey Joe's, it's just, it's a series of songs, which it is. But Stephanie very cleverly sort of wove a little through line through the whole thing. It's about these people coming together and remembering in the neighborhood, remembering their favorite places that they used to visit and their old friends, and they're looking at photo albums and, oh my God, remember that, remember Dad's old car, look, there's me in uniform, look, there's me in the high school play, all these things, and then right before our eyes these things come alive and we see these memories happen, but it is all about the performers. And again, this cast is like to die for. It's a dream cast, and I'm so excited. Audiences have loved it. So
the talent in your cast is there's almost no words. I think I even wrote about when she opens Hound Dog with that note that is just it's just magic.
Yeah.
What speaks to me in this musical, which I've seen several times, this was top-notch production of it, and it is the feeling that the music gives you. Like you run the whole gamut of emotions in this piece and this entire production, and I feel like it just is a real representation of how music makes you feel.
Totally. You're 100% right. And Lieber and Stoller, the writing team that wrote every single song in this show, they were sort of like the godfathers in a way of rock and roll. They wrote all this music in the 50s and 60s for like Elvis and all these other great recording artists. And you would never know, you hear in Smokey Joe's Cafe, you hear like song after song after song that and you've heard, but the fact that these two people wrote this canon of music and wrote all of these songs, it's amazing. Hound Dog, as you mentioned, the song Stand By Me, Spanish Harlem, Yakety Yak, Charlie Brown. Let me just tell you, hold on, I'm getting the script. The script is right here.
I have it right here too. I have the whole list.
Oh my God, like I'm a woman. Jailhouse Rock, Love Potion #9. on Broadway. I mean, all these songs that we know
Variety,
and that these people wrote, and it's I don't know, it's kind of like mind blowing. You walk out of the theater and you're like, I can't believe that this amount of work and creativity came out of these two people. But you're right there. It's a wide range of music and emotions that each song gives. And these actors are not only really, really skilled musicians, but they are skilled actors. And usually in Smokey Joe's Cafe, there is not a lot of choreography at all. It's usually, it's just about the songs. And if you are familiar with the original Broadway production, there's not a lot of choreography in it. This is probably the most dance that has ever been in any version of Smokey Joe's Cafe, and that's because Stephanie is such a skilled choreographer. Stephanie is a very famous Fosse dancer. For those viewers that maybe don't know her, Bob Fosse was obsessed with Stephanie Pope and cast her in many, many shows and was her mentor in a sense. And she just brings such an incredible life to this show, and it's sort of a new take on the show, and the movement is just spectacular. So it was really fun casting these people.
Yeah, you were really gifted. They could move, and the way it was, the dance numbers were choreographed for each piece was so so much emphasized what they were about.
That's right.
The shimmy was too much. I mean, that was just too much. But it was, everything just worked so well. And again, I have to say, when you're sitting in the audience at the set was spectacular.
What did you like about it?
I like the spacing, how you had they were like separate rooms for each thing. And then how she used that space so well. People were coming from everywhere. So it really opened it up, speaking from above and coming down a ladder but it gave it a whole new dimension.
Yeah.
Like you felt like you were in the neighborhood.
That's right. That's right. And it's meant to be, it's meant to represent many different types of neighborhoods, right? And many different memories that these people have in common. But it's, there was one specific sort of inspirational image that Stephanie and I really liked. Yeah, there's the set right there.
There you go.
You can that's like half of the set, really.
Yeah.
But we really wanted to incorporate the band. The band wanted to sort of feel like its own cast member in a sense. So the band is very present. The band has like some solo moments where the cast, points to them, and they sort of they're all a part of this thing. It's group storytelling in a way. But it's it was supposed to feel like a courtyard almost, like in between, in the back of buildings, like in New York City, how you walk into like a restaurant and then you go to the outside area in the back, and it's surrounded by like apartment buildings and like railing and maybe even an entrance to another building. So that was sort of what it was supposed to feel like. And I think Jack Mailer did the set design, and he did a spectacular job. He does a lot of sets for us, and this one was top notch.
This was really awesome. I mean, everything I've seen has been great, but this is really, again, there's just a depth to it and a depth of talent that's off the chart. So definitely a must see.
There's 2 more weekends, right? So this weekend, this will go up tomorrow. So the weekend of the 15th, 16th, that sort of, and then you close the 24th.
That's right. Yeah, we close on the 24th. We had thought about extending. Sales are good, but we didn't want. We think that this is sort of the perfect amount of time. What's interesting for many of these actors and musicians and even technicians, it's their first time back after, just like the audience. It's many audience members' first time back coming to see a show and sit in the theater during after the pandemic, during a pandemic, but. For these actors and musicians and these talented people, 18 months of not being able to do what they have trained all their lives to do. And so it was a very sort of emotional and it was a huge milestone for many of them, and an emotional rehearsal period. Many of them just had to sort of stop and take a moment and cry and like remember, wow, this is what I've meant to do all of my life, and I haven't been able to do it for nearly 2 years, and this is my first time back, and it's very hopeful. It gives people a lot of hope, and I think it's a great entry back to the industry, this particular show, for these people and for our audiences.
That's a really good point, because there's an exuberance that you get from this cast that is palpable. And I think this show gives them, there may be another show you might have chosen that wouldn't be so open to that, but this had every opportunity to show how thrilled they were
Yeah.
with their character to be there. And that's the audience too. I mean, it was a heartbeat before everybody was on their feet and just cheering, because
Yeah.
it was everybody was thrilled to be there.
Yeah. You never
And I
know.
might add, we felt safe. It
Yes.
felt safe and secure and totally comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, our you know, we've got, because we're an equity theater, a union, Actors Equity Association, the union for all professional actors and stage managers, we have very, very strict protocols as it pertains to not only the actors, but anybody that works in this building and audience as well. So you know, it's, even though the mask mandate was lifted in Ridgefield, Connecticut, our union dictates that you must wear a mask in the theater, and so, you know, audience must be masked. There's still screening that goes on before. The actors are tested twice a week. And listen, if anybody tests positive, we close. And so everybody is extraordinarily safe. There's crazy cleanings that go on between shows. It's just yeah, and there's no intermission. So we wanted to also, that was also important for the theater to sort of minimize the, you know, the mingling and the waiting in a line for a bathroom and all of that. So we made the decision to, Smokey Joe's is generally a 2-act show, and we made the decision to do it all in 1 act, which is fine. It's you know, 89 minutes actually, depending on the conductor. So yeah, it's working out great. I'm proud of this theater. We were the first theater given permission to reopen over a year ago with an indoor musical, and that was because of our incredible sort of safety and return plan that we created for our union, with our union. And we haven't had one incident of COVID, instance of COVID, and we haven't had one traceable moment of COVID. So we're doing a great job, and knock on wood. I'm knocking on wood.
Good. We'll all knock on wood. Here we
Yes,
go.
please.
Okay, we're good.
And so after this closes, you have a whole full rest of your season. You have a lot of stuff coming up. You got Nickel Mines is next, and what's the rest of the whole?
So before Nickel Mines, one of our most popular, but one of our most popular series here at ACT is Broadway Unplugged series, which was created by our resident music supervisor Brian Perry, who was the conductor of Wicked for a decade on Broadway, and currently the music director of Jagged Little Pill on Broadway. He was the conductor of Next to Normal and Freaky Friday, all these, you know, he's very, very, very talented and skilled. He is our resident music supervisor. He created a series called Broadway Unplugged, where he brings one of his Tony Award winning famous New York friends to Ridgefield, to ACT, for just a one-night performance. And it almost feels like a little bit of like an inside the actor studio type of evening, where Brian sits at the piano and the star, the talent, is on a stool next to the piano, and they talk and tell these great stories and sing, you know, sometimes up to 20 songs from the shows that the person has starred in, or, you know, however it relates to the stories that they're talking about. We've had people like Lindsay Mendez and Derek Klena, amazing people. But on December 6th is our next Broadway Unplugged, and Heidi Blankenstaff will be the guest star. And Heidi right now is actually starring in Jagged Little Pill. She plays the mother in Jagged Little Pill, but other people might remember her from Broadway's Something Rotten, Little Mermaid, Title of Show. Oh wait, I have it written down.
That one's
here.
For us nerds. That's how I know her.
Theater nerd. Yep. She was also in the original company of Full Monty on Broadway, and on Disney Channel, the movie of Freaky Friday. So she's great. So that's that's the event in December, but it's a one-night thing and it sells out quickly. So if you want to get tickets, log on to our website now. But after that, Nickel Mines will be the next big main stage production. And that Nickel Mines was the show that we closed our theater with due to COVID. We were just about to, we were in rehearsals, just about to open the show in March 2 years ago, I don't know, when COVID hit for the first time, and we had to close our doors. So through a very, very generous donor, we are able to bring the show back. It is it's a brand new musical. ACT is we're the world premiere version of the show. It's never been done before. It's an important, beautiful, almost dance-based musical, and I can't wait for our audiences to see it. It's very emotional. But it's about the power of forgiveness in a sense. It's about the 2006 Lancaster, Pennsylvania Amish schoolhouse shooting that took place in a school called Nickel Mines. But it's not about that one tragic event. It is about the power of forgiveness and the formation of community, and how people come together in trying times, in times of chaos and tragedy, and lift each other up and forgive and move on and learn. And it's just an important, beautiful new show. So I'm excited about that. After that will be Jesus Christ Superstar, which everybody is very excited about. I'll be directing Jesus Christ Superstar. I have a long history with Superstar. I was in the 2000 Tony nominated version on Broadway, which was a lot of fun. And I've directed and appeared in Superstars all over the country. I've done a lot of Superstars. But for what I have planned here at ACT, it will be unlike any Superstar that has ever existed. You both have seen all of the shows that I direct here, and you know how I sort of turn stuff on its head, and I reimagine and reconceive things oftentimes, and that Superstar is going to be one of those. And then we'll close the season with Rent. Everybody loves Rent, and a lot of people haven't seen Rent. Actually, it's funny. When I sort of took the temperature of the town about, you know, upcoming shows and how do you feel about this Rent? We've never seen Rent, but we've always wanted to see Rent. So yeah, so we're really, really excited about the remaining 3 main stage shows and Brian's Broadway Unplugged.
What a season.
Yeah.
That's great. Good for you. Good for you.
Thanks.
Very exciting. Very
It's
exciting.
good.
When does Nickel Mines open? Did you say?
Nickel Mines, let me look on my calendar. I'm turning my head. I'm sorry. Here we are. Nickel Mines is January 20th is when Nickel Mines open. And that's a limited, a shorter run than our normal shows. I think there's only 12 performances of Nickel Mines. It is January 20th through January 30th. And then Jesus Christ Superstar will be a nice long run. That is March 24th to April 17th. That's going to be the biggest production to date that we've done at ACT, with 24 cast members, and I think something like 9 musicians and a bunch of children.
You do so well with that. That's great.
Yeah. Thanks. And then Rent will be May 26th to June 19th. So yeah, it's exciting, and you know, I'm just proud of everybody working at ACT that has worked so hard to be able to continue to create art during these hard times, and you know, it's also because of this of Fairfield County and you know, Richfield, Connecticut, that we're able to continue. I always say that I feel like in Fairfield County, the understanding is that art is vital for a thriving society. And I believe that people really believe that here, because I know many, many artistic directors around the country with theaters my age, meaning not my age, how old I am, but the youth of how young the theater is with 4th season, that will just never, ever reopen because they just couldn't weather the storm. They don't have the community support. And they tried and people didn't show up. And thank God, thankfully, this community does. And again, it's because we have people that understand how important theater is and art is and music. And so, yeah, that's why I love living here.
Me too. I'm with you. I hear you. It is. There is just, yeah. And coming from New York, you think, what am I going to do up here? And then you just find this wealth of theater and creativity that is all around you. People are writing and singing and dance, but shows going on everywhere. So you just think, oh, this work. I mean, this is just great.
Did you know that Richfield was just was designated the first cultural district in all of Connecticut, which is terrific, but crazy to think that there was no cultural district, you know, at all in Connecticut. So many are following after this, but Ridgefield, Connecticut was the first designated arts destination, cultural destination, which is so exciting. Really
well, look at how many theaters they have, and not just that, you know, but also a lot of art. So it is the community is committed, and that's so valuable. Yeah. I just wanted to ask ticket sales. Can we just say, can individual tickets for any show be purchased at this point?
Yeah, now except for Rent, you can either buy a season package, which is for all the shows, which includes Rent also. But for individual tickets, every show right now except for the last one that will go on sale in another month. But like if you want to see Superstar but are not interested in seeing the rest of the season, you can now buy individual tickets to that. You can buy individual tickets to Broadway Unplugged and Nickel Mines.
And we would recommend that because you sell out very quickly.
Yes.
So we would recommend people getting on that.
Yeah, we're a
right
small
away.
theater. It's for those of you
Yeah.
that haven't been to ACT, it's 180 seats only. It's a small, intimate venue, but it's a really interesting space. And we also have a turntable stage, which we use not in every show, but in most shows. And it's a really, really cool feature. It sort of I don't know, it adds sort of like a film quality to our productions. So
Well, I would encourage folks to get a subscription, so then you don't have to worry about
that's
the
right.
show
You are
selling.
guaranteed. Yes.
We want that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What's the website, Daniel?
It is actofct.org, actofct.org. We're a not-for-profit small professional equity union theater here in Ridgeville, Connecticut, and we would love to see you. I gotta say though, I was really nervous about people returning and how season packages would sell this year. Maybe, I thought maybe people would wait a little bit longer, or also like talk to their neighbors that maybe came to see Smokey Joe's, and then how did you feel? Okay, then but our season packages it's been great. It's been just like any other year, which is,
Oh, that's wonderful.
I know it's just like, thank God, right?
Yeah. Well, you deserve it. I mean, you work really hard and you do an unbelievable job. And I have to say, every show just gets better and better and better. And I think, how are they going to top? But you do, and it's very impressive. And this show is, deeply moving, really fun. Really fun.
I appreciate that. I try to in a season, I try to do shows like a Mamma Mia or like a Smokey Joe's Cafe, where it's just fun and like music that we know, and like jump to your feet. And then I try to do shows like a Nickel Mines that the audience hasn't ever seen before, and that were, like Austin's Pride that we did a couple of seasons ago, where our audiences get to be the first to see a brand new musical that has a trajectory towards an eye towards Broadway, and then maybe shows like Rent, where people have heard of and always wanted to see and never got to see. So I try to really mix up, and I think that this is a great representation of that, and I think it's a terrific season.
I do too. I think I can't wait to see them. Sign me up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us once again. And everybody go grab your tickets to Smokey Joe's and the whole season.
The whole season.
Thank you, thanks. And thanks for always supporting us. We really appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Oh, we appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much. And best of luck, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
And we will see all of you very soon. Thanks for joining us.
Good night.
Bye.